is Rosh, and I'm the founder of Isara. We work with artisans in Indonesia and India to produce ethically handcrafted leather goods, and we just launched last month. So our focus is on crafting beautiful, well-designed bags and accessories for travel and work, with the idea being that they're not mass-produced, they are made to order one piece at a time, and treated well, they will last you a lifetime. So what's my story? Before Isara, and that was a journey that started about 12 months ago now, I was a management consultant and also worked in tax in Indonesia. It was a stable, well-paying job, and sometimes I think I'm crazy for leaving because this has been just a massive roller coaster, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. So I started Isara after experiencing just the frustration of finding a good, well-made bag that didn't absolutely break the bank or was covered in horrendous logos all over it. They're just nothing like it existed. So that, combined with all my traveling when I was working out in Indonesia, I came across, leather goods is just one aspect of what they do really well, but I came across these leather workshops which were making people's bespoke designs into gorgeous, gorgeous bags using age-old methods passed down through the families. So most of these people have been in the leatherworking industry for generations. And I love that. So I did a bit of research and I found that, one, people actually liked my designs. I've always designed my own clothes and accessories and either made them myself or when my skill just didn't allow for it, I would get someone more talented than myself to actually make them. And that's how that started. So we currently work with 46 artisans. Half of those are in Indonesia, in central Java, and the other half are in eastern India. These are both regions that are really well known for leather production as well as leather working. And our point of difference is that our artisans are actually treated really, really well. We're hoping that they will continue the craft and their traditions by making it lucrative enough for them to work in this industry at a time when it's generally more profitable for them to go and work in a factory of some sort that does mass-produced products. So the way we do this is we actually pay them at least 3 times the minimum wage, in some cases as much as 5 times. We provide health insurance for themselves and their families. They're enrolled in an interest-yielding savings plan. And we're also working towards B Corporation certification. So you actually need to have been in business for a year. We just launched last month, so I've got a little while to go, but that's the ultimate goal. And the idea is that business can be a really great catalyst for change, for positive social impact. And we're definitely seeing that happen in our communities that we work with. So our focus is on crafting minimalist, really, really functional products that are so well built that if you take care of them, they're going to last you a lifetime. It's exactly the opposite of this mass-produced fast fashion movement. I think it's important to stop and think that when coffee costs $3-4 a cup, how can you possibly get a piece of clothing for $4.95? It's someone has to pay for it somewhere, and it's just really not okay to sideline those thoughts as not being your problem. It is fast becoming our problem, as you can see with all the environmental changes around us. And I think that as consumers, it's important for us to educate ourselves and do the best we can. So going back to Isara, I guess, the name, people often ask, where does that come from? It's a Thai word and it means freedom. It's a concept that I really strongly resonate with. And it's, I guess, a little bit about our pieces actually. So our focus is on crafting minimalist, really, really functional products for travel and work. They're made from premium materials. So one of our biggest breakthroughs was actually partnering with a leather manufacturer who also supplies to a really well-known luxury Italian brand, pieces which easily retail for 10, 20 times what our products cost. And my pet hate is actually carrying around things which have logos all over it, kind of like a walking billboard. And so all of our range, the logos are so discreet. The most ostentatious thing you would see is probably like something, there you go. That's a women's tote bag and it's got a little bit of gold branding, but with most of our stuff, it's really well hidden. And the idea is that the quality of the excellent workmanship and the materials will speak for themselves. You don't need a logo slapped all over it to show that you're carrying around a great product. So I guess you'd want to know a little bit about my journey up until this point. I have no previous experience in leather. It's all been learning on the job. I've always designed my own clothes and accessories. So from a design perspective, I have actually done a short course, and it's something that I love to do. But my background's actually in commerce, in business. In terms of when it started, so let's see, it was about June last year that I first came across a workshop in Central Java, and it was, an eye-opening moment there to see someone make something out of nothing in front of you, and for it to look so beautiful at the end of it. So when I did have the idea, I did quite a bit of market research and found that, people were on board with my idea. They would love to purchase items that were reasonably priced, ethically made, and would last a long time. So it was a matter of making that happen. And every weekend I travelled through Java, through other islands in Indonesia initially, just testing out workshops, working with artisans, seeing who actually had the ability to make things to a quality that was acceptable to me and in line with my vision. Eventually we also expanded to India, which made it a little bit easier for me given I actually speak the language over there a bit better than I speak Indonesian. My Indo's pretty good, but I wouldn't say I'm perfectly fluent. Not enough to do business there. So it was 12 months of living in the most crazy places, some of them really beautiful with volcanoes and beaches that have hardly any people on them, and others that don't really have hot water and where not a person speaks English around you, and they think that you're crazy for traveling around as a single woman by yourself. I was told as much quite often. So I dealt with a ton of things, food poisoning, just sunburn, it does happen. Just being massively ripped off during sourcing trips, blackmailed a couple of times. So it's been a really long journey getting to this point in manufacturing. I think if things can go wrong, they absolutely will. So you need to have that buffer there, not just in terms of meeting customers' expectations, but also just for yourself. Because every little win feels exhilarating, but at the same time, when things go wrong, given you've invested so much in it, it can be really devastating, to the point where you don't know how you're going to bounce back from it. So it's important to surround yourself with a great support network and also just look a little bit ahead, and know that it will work out fine. So we've actually been profitable since day one, just through pre-launch sales. So we only launched in May, but I've been selling through Instagram and Facebook since around July last year, so just a month after it initially started. And we've got some really excellent mentors along the way, from just people that are so much better at this than I am. So they've been vital in actually making this happen and providing a voice of reason when things have been really, really tough. And I was blown away by the initial response. So in our first month of launch, we've been featured in the Fashion Journal, on Forbes, Tech in Asia, Ask Men. Huckberry is going to be carrying us soon. These are huge brands that, I would have been happy if one person bought my stuff, let alone all of these people actually talking about it and loving it. So it's been really great. I've always wanted to work for myself, and I've always wanted to have a job that made a difference in other people's lives. I'm not a religious person, but I do think that we have a purpose, and it's different for each person. If you figure that out for yourself. For me, I wanted to leave the world a better place than the one that I was given. Even if that was just to help one person out. So in terms of the particular moment, I would say there's a couple of things that combined in causing me to take the leap. My mum got really sick in June last year, and I got a phone call from Melbourne saying, come home, she's really ill. That was a massive wake-up call. Also, I was really disliking my job by that point. I didn't see myself continuing in that field. It just didn't feel right to me, and it didn't feel like, if 10 years down the track someone asked me, oh, what have you achieved in your life? Saying I made oil companies richer didn't feel like the kind of thing I'd be proud about telling my kids or grandkids. So didn't want to do that anymore. And I figured that the older you get and as your responsibilities increase, it's only going to get harder to stop, especially when you're leading quite a comfortable lifestyle. So figured I'd pull the plug and just tried it. Glad to say it's working out really well so far. The next thing, what's the best part about it? I really love working for myself. I'm not a huge fan of routine, so I like being able to get up and plan my day as I feel necessary. I like being able to go to the gym in the morning. There's a little perks, but the coolest thing is actually when people in different countries have heard about Isara. We did a market day in Sydney. It's not a different country, but this was literally the first weekend after we launched, so maybe 3 days in. And someone came over and said, "Oh, I've read about you guys," and yeah, that was awesome. And just seeing people carrying stuff that you've designed, and as well as the biggest thing for me would be to see the artisans who actually make our bags and accessories, to see them so excited and have a dignified way of actually making a living. I am a lot more hardworking and tenacious than I could have thought earlier. I had a job which forced me to work really long hours before, but this wasn't just about the hours or the outside incentives. It was knowing that when I actually believe in something, I fight like hell to get it. And I'm a lot tougher than I initially could have thought as well. I didn't think I was capable of going to all these different countries and dealing with people that are about 3 times my age and who immediately discount me. I'm pretty small and I look younger than I am as well. So it has been really tough at times and so frustrating when people just don't listen to you and take you seriously. The fact that I fought through all of that and actually got this site live, that's been fantastic. I've also learned that I really enjoy working with people. So the working alone part has been a little bit difficult for me, having people on the operational side of things. I heard a long time ago this quote, and I've really liked it. So it goes something along the lines of, when you're born, you're crying, and everybody around you is laughing because they're so happy. Live your life so that when you die, you're the one who's laughing, and everyone around you is crying for having lost you. Thanks so much for listening and watching. And if you have any questions at all, please reach out. I'm available on email and pretty much all the other social media. Links will be below. Thank you.